What's up, this is Joe. I'm hoping by the time this video comes out to be on my way to Daytona Beach, Florida, where I'm scheduled to work bike week. My usual gig with Memphis Shades. There's a cold front coming through Texas, bringing rain and high winds and lots of sub-freezing temperatures. So same thing happened last year. I was stuck in Mexico a little longer than I wanted to be. So basically what I'm gonna do with this video is get it scheduled so it comes out at my regular time on Thursday. I got about 1,834 miles to go. As I was getting all of my stuff packed and situated, I sort of like broke everything down and tried to explain as much as possible why I carry what I do, go over tools and stuff like that. I did a video sort of like this about a good 8-9 months ago, but this video is going to be more of a sort of comprehensive breakdown of exactly what I carry, why I carry it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, you know, what I'm going to try to improve in the future. So I hope that'll be helpful to anybody that's wondering, like, why do I carry certain things? What's essential? You know, what do I not need? What can I get rid of? Hopefully there'll be some new stuff in this video that I didn't cover in the last gear video. And then the next video will be all about the ride from Querétaro, Mexico to Daytona Beach, Florida. So portions of this video I tried to record inside Lily's apartment, which is still empty because she just moved there. As I was playing back the clips that I'd recorded, I realized there was a terrible reverb. Midway through doing that recording, I actually stepped outside so there'd be less of an echo. If the echo is too problematic, there's an option for subtitles in both English and Spanish. If you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe. As usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box if you'd like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the road. In La Casa de Lily, in her little beautiful office space that she's got here. That's actually the office space over there, but she says it's cold in the morning. So I'm just getting packed up. There's a cold front running through Texas. This is the exact same thing that happened last year. It was so cold in Texas, I had to like wait it out. I've lost several days of time. So it's just gonna be a quick, easy video of all of my gear. So as I'm sitting here getting packed, I'm always looking for stuff I can get rid of. What do I not need? What can I give away? At this point, I pretty much need everything I have, which is usually the story, but occasionally clothes will wear out. I've got about 5 pairs of underwear, 6 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of shorts, 1 pair of swimming trunks, a scarf. My grandmother knitted this, one of the last things that she made before she passed away. This is actually made out of alpaca yarn. So back home in southwestern Virginia, where I'm from, my grandparents had an alpaca farm for a little while. Alpacas, llamas, and things like that. Perfect not only because it reminds me of home, but because it gets that sort of nether region right in between the helmet and the top of the jacket, sort of just covers that up just perfect. Let's see, long johns. I'll definitely be breaking out the long johns, 2 pairs. And then I've got a hoodie in there that actually Lily has stolen. Liner for my cold weather motorcycle jacket. Cold weather mummy bag, all wrapped up nice and tight. This is the warmer weather sleeping bag. This is rated at about 50 degrees, all packed up. I like it because it packs down really small. Temperatures that get colder than 40 degrees, typically I will put this one inside of that one and then crawl inside of both of them. I've seen people that carry quilts and things like that. I'm sure that's a lot more comfortable, but it tends to be a lot more bulky as well, at least from what I've seen. So I'm just trying to keep the load down as much as I possibly can. This is an Oxford dry bag, holds about 70 liters. This is the second one that I've had, and it's developed holes right here. I've been on the phone trying to get a hold of the people from Oxford. They seemed absolutely shocked their product had developed holes. Didn't really have any good advice on how to fix it. So I guess most people that buy these bags aren't using them day after day after day and living on their bike. When you live on your bike, stuff tends to wear out a lot faster. You know, I'll probably buy another one of the same brand, honestly, because it's got these sort of anchor points at the bottom of the bag, which just make it so easy to put on and off of the bike. So I like that about it. It's a good bag. This is actually a little bit too big for this bike because the mirrors actually come out to about, I've got to right now wrap a bungee cord around it just to scrunch it up like that, just so I can see around it. I wear a lot of button-up shirts, which you may have noticed in some of the videos. There's not really any sort of philosophy behind that, except for when I started coming down to Mexico, I noticed people were really done up and really dressed really nice, at least a lot more than they do in the United States. So a lot of these are Mexican style button-up shirts, just an effort to sort of not stand out quite as much, and you know, it looks cool. This is a set of Gore-Tex pants that a friend of mine, it's that a guy I met at the auto parts store in Cody, Wyoming, gave me these pants. Oh, thank you, baby. So yeah, I met this guy at an auto parts store in Cody, Wyoming. As it just so happened, was a big motorcyclist. Turned out to be a former Special Forces guy, and hooked me up with these, as well as introduced me to a friend of his who was a dirt bike mechanic, and let me use his shop to fix the doohickey on my KLR. So, if you've never heard of the doohickey, that's actually a technical term for a counterbalance tensioner adjuster lever. All right, but these are waterproof Gore-Tex. I'm almost been too afraid to use them because they're so nice. It's like I don't want to mess them up, so they tend to stay at the bottom of this dry bag most of the time, but at some point when the weather gets bad, these are coming out. Here's a shot of the dry bag itself. As I say, I don't like the fact that it always seems to get little holes right here. Right around there is where it'll get a hole. And I finally got a hold of the people from Oxford. They just didn't really know what to tell me at all because they hadn't really heard of anybody having problems like this. They recommended a type of PVC patch that's used on inflatable rafts. They said that might work. The jury's still out on that. I may try it. I may get a smaller one, as I say, because the bag is like almost the same width as the mirrors. So I think I could get the 50 liter next time and make that work. So as you can see, this thing's not even nearly to full capacity. As I said before, this has got these anchor points at the bottom where there's no metal, it's just plastic and cloth. Some of them have metal straps on the bottom. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I put this rock strap on that side, and then it's got these sort of straps that it came with that I'll just sort of wrap around the subframe and then pull it tight that way and then cinch it down. And then that works pretty well. I find there's just really no substitute for a good warm motorcycle jacket, sort of more cold weather oriented jacket. You know, if the weather's nice, I don't tend to even wear a jacket, so, and it also functions as a pillow. Of course, my GIVI box always goes back here. This is the largest box that GIVI makes. This is called the Trekker. I put this passenger backrest on there. I mounted the luggage rack to the top, which is great. So somebody was asking me about this recently. This is my sleeping pad. For the longest time, I traveled with a Coleman mattress off of a cot. It actually worked pretty well until it sort of wore out. In my experience, every time I've tried an air pad, they always pop relatively quickly after daily use. No more than 2 weeks to a month of using them. In my experience, they always pop, no matter how careful I am. So I just gave up on air pads after trying like 5 different types of them. So this is closed cell, sort of a memory foam is what they say. It's waterproof, and that's why I don't have to put it in another bag, you know, where everything's gonna be sort of in an anaerobic environment. Everything's just out and open. It gets aired out every day, so I don't have to worry about it getting nasty and smelly and stuff. And it's lightweight, very lightweight. I'll mount my sleeping pad on top of the GIVI box. And then these are actually 2 tarps wrapped up together. Basically this brown one I use to string up, if there's some trees or whatever, over top of the tent, string it up into sort of an A-frame shape, just so I have, you know, an area that I know is not gonna get wet. This is a good, like, $80 tent, not made in the US, which I don't like about it. I feel like my next tent, absolutely, I'm gonna try to do made in the US, and for that matter, as much stuff as I possibly can in the future. I feel like it's something that's just absolutely crucial these days, to try to buy domestic as much as possible. That's a whole other story, which I'm not gonna get into in this video. The reason why I put these right here instead of this is because this is lighter, and I want less weight on the GIVI box itself. All right, I think it's rated at like 15 pounds already. I've got way more than 15 pounds on it, inside of it and on it. And I can feel on the box just by sort of like moving it back and forth. If it feels like it's stressed too much, you know, then I'll take something off of it or take something out of it. Essentially, this heavier stuff I want to be as far forward as the rear axle as absolutely possible. The weight's more balanced, it's more evenly distributed, and it's more of a stable ride. Anything heavy I try to put in these cases, these side cases. So everything in the box itself is pretty much lightweight stuff. Bandanas, vitamins, registration, toothbrush, all kinds of random stuff like that. All right, so this is one of my tool bags. One of the best damn bags I've ever seen. This guy to access my air filter. So I need this for a couple of the screws, and then I need a screwdriver about that big for the other ones. Zip ties, gotta have them. Powdered graphite, good for the locks if they get jammed to riding in the rain or whatever. I haven't really had a problem on these just because they're good Honda factory locks. Extra clutch master cylinder rebuild kit just in case. Clutch slave cylinder. Gasket. I don't know what good that would do me without the actual slave cylinder, but I've got it. Fuel pump gasket. Knife I got from Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. Still sharp as a fucking tack. Paid $5 for this, made in the US. Anti-seize. Blue Loctite. Gasket maker. Wire brush. Battery terminals get bad. A quick brush with this wire brush will, you know, get everything back to where it needs to be. A little length of hose, which is more useful than, you know, I ever thought. Refilling drive shaft oil out of the bottle doesn't really fit around the exhaust, so a little length of hose like that is enough to sort of angle it in there. Sandpaper comes in handy every once in a while. Wire, shrink wrap, electrical tape, of course, various sizes of hose clamps. These really are useful in a lot of situations when you're on the road and broken down. A padlock. In the past, I've gotten storage units really cheap for like a month just to get situated if I'm working on my bike or whatever. I've got a padlock for it. Brake parts lubricant. I think I was using that for my slave cylinder. Of course, just a bunch of other random cotter pins, washers, and bolts, and that's it. As far as GoPros, I carry a 7 black and a 7 silver. This 7 silver was given to me. Not really very happy with it, but the battery life on the silver is about twice as long as it is on the black. The silver is only capable of shooting, and I think 1080 is as high as it goes. On the black, typically I'll shoot in 4K, but of course the batteries only last like maybe 30 minutes, you know, plus these batteries are pretty shot from being recharged before they completely drain. Because of convenience, I don't want my batteries going dead like right in the middle while I'm filming something. This taller mount, and then of course the regular short ones. Little angle that I haven't really played with much. Got a little bit of an elbow on it. All kinds of mounts, 3M tape. My GoPro charger shit the bed when I came down, so I ordered this one off of a Mexican website, which is pretty good, but it doesn't charge them all the way. You know, the highest it goes is like 90%. So that's another reason why my batteries are shot. Then a little cheap dollar store bag I got for it. But right here, I've got a mount. This one I don't really use too much unless I've got Lily or a passenger on the back. Depending on the light, if I've got the sun in the background, obviously I'm going to be, you know, going forward. And sometimes I've got the sun right in my face, and the only shot that looks any good at the end of the day is shooting backwards like that, or from the side. I've got one on the GIVI case that sometimes I'll put like right here, like basically shooting sideways. And then this one, which sort of shoots from, obviously that's sort of an angle right there. I got this mount, which a couple of people told me they didn't really like. From that angle, and then of course this one on the other side, depending on what side of the road is more interesting. And of course my chin mount, which is the one I use most frequently because you get a little bit of a shot of the instrument panel and the handlebars and the windshield and stuff. And then this one's good just to sort of mix it up and get a little bit of a different angle. This one's tough to really position exactly where you want it because it's very dependent on maintaining exactly the same position as wherever you set it. Motorcycle cover. So in Mexico, I really enjoy putting this motorcycle cover on the bike. It keeps the bike out of sight, and you know, I mean, once you put it on the bike, it's like the whole bike disappears. So I like having that. I like using it. It's fucking big and heavy, you know, takes up a lot of space, but down here it's just so worth it. This is actually a Carryocan bag I got from a swap meet. I remember being so excited about this when it was new. And now I can't really even hold any of my tools because it's falling apart. So I just used it as a bungee cord bag, which works pretty well. Let's see what else I got in here. Some of the great Memphis Shades product they make called All Clear, which is great for your windshield. People come in with just completely faded windshields, and the reason for that is one of the worst things you can put on a windshield is Windex or anything that's formulated for glass. Stay away from anything we say. If it burns your nose, don't use it. So when I got this bike, it came with these sort of saddlebag liners like that. And I was damn near about ready to throw the things out. Just on a whim, decided to try them and see if I liked them. They're the best things in the world. Once I started using them, they just made it so much easier to keep everything situated. I can just grab this if I want to just take whatever's in the bag with me. These I got from somewhere. These are humidity absorbers, which is really important. Basically, it's kind of like the silica stuff or like damp rid in a smaller package. Absorbs any humidity, so inside the laptop and whatnot, absorbs any of that stuff. With the clothes and stuff, staph infection is a very serious concern. I've known several people living on their bikes to get a staph infection, and I've had one myself, and trust me, they're not fun. When you have humidity enclosed in an anaerobic environment, which means that no air can escape, stuff grows and bad stuff grows. These pouches I've found are a good way. Since I've been using these, I haven't had a problem. But as I say, I know some people that are pack wet stuff inside of their tour pack and then take it out and wear it to bed, you know, and they're sitting there rolling around in this dirty clothes that's been sitting in an anaerobic environment collecting God knows what, and then they get a staph infection. Oh, this side's looking a little sparse now, huh? So I got a little stove. Thanks, Dennis, if you're watching. This runs off of a butane mix. Good little camp stove. It's a nice little thing to make your coffee in the morning, have some hot coffee. This side is generally devoted to books. I've actually leaving quite a few books at Lily's place this time. I probably will want to read them again, so I'm leaving it at her place. But typically this thing's got usually a good 6 books in it. When I'm alone in the woods and stuff, it's my absolute favorite pastime. I mean, you give me a book over anything else, man. That's what I prefer. A book, you know, good conversation, whatnot. Excited, I'm stocking up on books when I get back to the States. I got my tire plug kit, or what's left of it after attempting to plug my tire. It looks like I could still plug a tire on that. Oh yeah, because I got another bottle of rubber cement. Yeah, I could do some damage with that, or fix some damage, hopefully. Basically fix a flat type of stuff. In a jam, you know, if I do have to plug this on the way back to the States, I'll use this. I'm actually looking into a Rocky Mountain ATV makes a kit. It'll inflate the tire with CO2 cartridges. It's got a little razor blade. It's a cool little kit. So I'll probably ditch the fix a flat. I really don't like putting this stuff in there, and it's hard to really ever completely wipe it completely dry once it's, you know, you change the tire. So when I hit the road about 3 years ago, I started on a Kawasaki Ninja 300. A chair was just a pipe dream. There was no way I could have fit a camping chair on that bike. This is totally a game changer, is having a camp chair with you, because there's just so many times when you're staying in places and there's just not a comfortable chair. My toolbox, all right, I keep only the tools I know I'm going to need. A ratchet, screwdriver with a bunch of multi attachments, stakes and stuff. My buddy Christoph turned me onto this. This is a hardware store special. These are like landscape types of stakes. It's very hard to find a stake that'll actually hold up to repeated use in rocky types of soil and things like that, but these things are pretty freaking sturdy. I mean, as you can see, kind of like a giant nail, really. This cool little hammer that I got from a hardware store in New Mexico, and the bottom of it comes open like this, and you got a screwdriver. And then you got another little screwdriver. Got a socket for just about any standard application on the bike as far as maintenance goes. I've got an attachment for it, multi-tool. You know, a lot of these tools in a mechanic shop would not be ideal, but when you're on the road, it's like I'm sort of limited by, you know, how many tools I can just kind of carry around and stuff. So I need sort of, if I could find a multi-tool and it's got a bunch of, you know, stuff I can use. Adjustable crescent wrench, for instance, okay? Instead of carrying around a bunch of different size wrenches, I got an adjustable crescent wrench. And it works, you just have to be careful with it. But I do have some these flex heads that I use. These things are just the best thing in the world. It's just another thing, like you wonder how you ever lived without it, especially on this bike. There's a lot of tight places and nooks and crannies, and the guys who designed it didn't necessarily have the mechanic in mind who was going to be wrenching on it. Flashlight, cable repair kit just in case anything happens to my throttle cables. Obviously I don't have to worry about a clutch cable, because I already had to worry about a hydraulic clutch, which I fixed, which was a nightmare. Well, I said I don't carry wrenches, but obviously I do carry wrenches, but they're all the stuff I need. I don't know why I have a 13 in here though. I had some odd stuff on the KLR, nuts and bolts that I'd purchased in Mexico that ended up being a 13, which broke my even number scheme that I had going. So extensions and stuff like that. Another bottle of blue Loctite was like in there. I guess I could put other stuff in this box other than tools, but they're heavy, and I prefer having as much heavy stuff as far forward as the front axle as I can. So, you know, it's a system that works pretty well. Not to endorse the company Slime or anything, but I've had this digital slime gauge running on the original battery for 3.5 years. And as you can see, this thing's been through some wars. Rain, cold, crashes. It's been with me the whole time. A couple of mechanics gloves. For a lightweight glove like this, pretty damn effective. In the auto parts store down here, they're making like some motorcycle gloves with like armor and stuff on them. I may look into that, but I rarely wear them. But you know, good to have and lightweight and all that. And then here's just random odds and ends. I like this thing because it's a voltmeter with the battery tender lead. Basically, if I ever want to check my charging system and see how much juice I've got on the battery, this will give me a readout right here. And as well, it's also got a couple of USB charging ports. It fell out of my bike and somebody ran over it with a car. And so I was like, I came back to look for it. I was like, oh fuck, for sure this thing's not gonna work. Plugged it in and it still works. So the good thing to have. And this was from a local company in Florida, Ride Power. So I like to support local businesses when I can. Extra stuff, a lighter, extra valve stem caps. This is a knife sharpener. I carry a couple little pocket knives. And that's the glove box.